means when I think about Xbox, I'm going to think about quality games. We have work to do there. We haven't done our best work over the last few years with our first-party output.
That's always been a hit on the company on that. Whenever I hear some criticism.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say always. Like, I think we've gone through times
not to throw mud on
business. You know, we have to look at the return on our business, the cost of the business. We've held price on our console. We've held price on games for us and our subscription. I don't think we'll be able to do that forever. I do think at some point we'll have to raise some prices on certain things. But going into this holiday, we thought it was really important that we maintain the prices that we have.
Let's talk about Game Pass a little bit more, since that's a big bet for Microsoft. How many subscribers do we have now? And it does seem like a really good deal for the consumer, but what about the Microsoft investor? How is this a moneymaker for Microsoft?
Our last public number was 25 million subscribers that we've talked about.
We get an update?
Not right here, but.
And so everything that we're doing with our content, with our and so everything that we're doing with our content, with our
Wait, just wait till E3, there will be a showcase, but I can't say when all our games need help. Bootleg Studios helping with Perfect Dark.
Let's talk about Game Pass a little bit more, since that's a big bet for Microsoft. How many subscribers do we have now? And it does seem like a really good deal for the consumer, but what about the Microsoft investor? How is this a moneymaker for Microsoft?
Our last public number was 25 million subscribers that we've talked about.
Oh, and Psychonauts 2. New games are coming fast. 12 minutes and 80s. And they're all on Game Pass. Somerville, a Plague Tale Requiem. What to play first and what to play last. Skylash 2, Grounded, True and Doom. 'Cause they're all on Game Pass. Among Us, The Ascent, and more.
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
What's up, grinders? How's everybody doing out there? Happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Hit that like button. Welcome to the Grinds Gaming Bite. Yes, you're getting a two-peat this week. Two-peat. Two-peat. I said we're doing it. I said we're doing it. I said what I said. I said what I said.
You know, they have something I could never have.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.
You're damn right. We're going to talk about it. Grindhouse Laws in session. Hit that like button as if it was a gavel. Let's go. We are going in today into Grindhouse Law. Welcome to all the VIP grinders. Don't think I forgot about you guys. How's everybody doing out there? Kratos, Ice Queen Gaming, Asim, how you doing? Maniola, Stonewall, Flex, and Herman Holt Splits. They heard it. They heard the quality flute. They heard it. They heard the quality flute. How you doing, Alfonso? Ancient Runes Discovery. Welcome. Get on in here. The Grindhouse fire is burning bright. Neil Advocate, how you doing, Ron M? You want to see the work I've been putting in? You want to see? We're going to go hear him right now. What? Who's that? It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. We hit 2,000 subs. Oh, yeah. Thank you again, Grinders, for subbing to the Gaming Grindhouse. I can't believe it. Hey, 2,000 subs. Thank you again. It's awesome. There's more stuff. I'm excited about all the stuff I'm not saying, but no, I definitely thank you very much for all your support, for everything, for this channel, and for me as well. You know, going through all the Gaming Grindhouse has been going through all the sound effects and everything for all these years, and you know, Grindadamus, man. Don't mess with the Grindadamus. I told you, the things are gonna happen. But again, as a consumer, this is my opinion. Here's how I react to my sources that I have, my 2 eyeballs, just like everybody out there. We have no inside deals, some ass grabbing, tattoos, sign backs, fan fest. We don't need that stuff. What is presented to us is what we react to because that's what we're buying. And that's all we have. But thank you to the 2,000 subs, and we're going to get 2,000 more. We're going to keep growing. We got tons of members in the VIPs. You think I've been put to work. Put to work. And we got them. And now it's starting again. You guys really want me to put to work. Get him in here. Get Mr. Herman Holtz in here. Quality splits. We got the foundation. The foundation of the gaming grindhouse. The foundation. The VIP grindhouse. Quality players. Get him, Herman. It's about quality. Look at them. Look at them all. You can't fit them all on one screen. We're going to have to get a part 2 to the VIPs. Holy. Thank you, Cyber Dragon. We're going to get another 5 more added to this list. Holy crumble. Herman says, God damn, it's a Friday. I'm already splitting in half. Rooftop party! Here we go, baby. Thank you again, VIP Grinders. Woo! We're here. We're here. Him, Herman. Now Herman goes, I know, Herman. Herman goes, thank you very much for this honor of doing the splits. But now I have to take this time and play my quality flute. Quality. The tone. When I get out of my car and I go to the studios with my chest hairs out and chains as Mr. Herman Holtz, I walk out there. They hear my flute as I enter the buildings. The quality flute plays. Because I'm Herman Holtz and I know quality. And I know quality games. And quality release dates. And quality content. And quality PSVR. That's who I am, Mr. Herman Holtz. Quality. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, Mr. Herman Holtz, thank you so much for joining us to the 2,000 subscribers, playing that quality flute. Incredible, Mr. Herman Holtz. Herman Holtz got him in there. So, you know why you're here. Today's Friday, and we're doing Grindhouse Law. We're talking about it's a raw deal.
It's raw, Melissa.
Yes, Chef.
It's raw. Come on.
Yes, Chef.
It's a raw deal. Mr. Jim Gordon Ramsay Ryan running around looking like Gordon Ramsay, saying it's a raw deal. This Activision deal, it's raw.
It's raw, Melissa.
Yes, Chef.
It's raw. Come on.
Yes, Chef.
So what are we talking about here? So, hit that like button, grinders. What happened? What again? This goddamn Activision deal, and Microsoft can't get out of its own friggin' way. It is like this deal has been like a housefly that doesn't die. It is equivalent to Sea of Thieves, the game that just doesn't go away because Microsoft likes to keep bringing it up all the time. Mr. Gordon Ramsay, Jim Ryan, he's not in his chef outfit right here. but he came in there and he just went into this deal. Microsoft, you know, Brad Sims had the deal in his pocket like friggin' Vince McMahon. He goes, "Oh, I got a deal for you. Oh, yeah. I have it right here in my pocket, and we're going to sign it on Monday Night Raw. I got a deal right here in my pocket, and we're going to sign it right now. You just got to accept the deal and accept the match at WrestleMania." And Jim Ryan is like,
It's raw, Melissa.
Yes, chef.
It's raw. Come on.
Yes, chef.
he is not buying what Vince McMahon, Brad Sims is selling. I made him a deal. It's a credible deal. It's going to be there. Sign the deal. It's all about Call of Duty. Let me tell you something. Once Call of Duty gets put on Microsoft and under them, once this deal goes through, it will be officially named Call of Matt Booty. That's what it'll be. Call of Duty will turn into Call of Booty. Because that's all the thing that Microsoft's going to do to it. Because they do not care. They do not care. Put it on your services. Put it on the toaster oven. Put it in a... I don't care. We just want this deal because we are desperate. We are desperate. People think Sony, because he just said this. This is what just Gordon Ramsay Ryan said this.
Where's the lamb sauce?
He went into that goddamn EU conference.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Where's the lamb sauce? God damn it! That's what he went in there. He went in there, and then when he saw it, he goes,
It's raw, Melissa.
"It's
Chef.
raw."
It's raw. Come on.
Yes, chef.
He said he went in there and goes, So this is all hearsay from our good friend and new Xbox fangirl, Lulu. You know, she's going to be on podcast soon. They love her. Miss Activision CFO, sassy talking, cursing motherfucker. You know her. Woo! You know her. She's just like out there, got all the fanboys all around her because they love their executives. They love the executives that talk like fangirls and fanboys. They love it. That's better than games. Starfield came and went.
You just made the
But Lulu made a comment, and Lulu was all in the news. This is all in the news. Lulu replaced Starfield's release date. That's right. Bootleg. I got the bootleg. I didn't even see what bootleg talked about. We don't want to talk about bootleg. But Lulu disrupted the stuff. Everybody's like, Starfield. And all of a sudden, Lulu says that Jim Ryan said this quote, and there she's the biggest fan. There we go. Velocity Architecture stamped on our ass. There we go. Biggest fangirl. They love her. Lulu's all in the news. Starfield, nobody cares about game. Starfield release date, who cares? Lulu said that Jim Ryan said this. Jim Ryan, per her, on February 21st, what's his name of Windows Central, not Windows Central, but what's his name from The Verge, Tom Warren, had to get the dirt. He goes, when did Jim Ryan say this? Thank you, 3 Mile Island. When did Jim Ryan say this? He said this on the 21st. Really? Why are we finding about it now? What? If this was so impactful and so disruptive at that EU meeting, why do you say it now? Why? The 21st, when is that? That seems like over 2 weeks ago, he said this, and this was not shared by Lulu? Lulu, what? Why now? What happened, Lulu? Why are we finding about this now? This is news right now. He said this 2 weeks ago. Maybe he changed his mind. Maybe it's a good deal now. But he said this. I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block the merger. So they say. Well, that rustled Xbox fans' feathers They go, you are defaming Sony? This is bad look? This is despicable? What? What? That is despicable, degrading, bad image on Sony? I forgot. All they want to do is their news is making Sony look bad. Sony's the bad guy. They don't want to do crossplay. Nintendo and Xbox better together. Sony bad. Ooh, Sony bad. They don't want to do crossplay. Sony bad. They don't want to do day and date. Sony bad. They don't want to put their games in a subscription day one and make it look like trash and play like trash and miss content like Halo
You're
Infinite.
my number one customer.
Sony bad. Sony says they don't want the deal to go through. Boo, Sony. Sony bad. You want to know what? This quote, if he said it or not, is the most confident thing that I've seen out of this whole Activision merger. He's the only one in there saying something from the heart, something from confidence. Everything's been wishy-washy. Well, we made a deal. We don't know. Nintendo's part of our family now, but they weren't when we signed. All wishy-washy bullshit. This dude comes out there and goes, I don't want a new deal. I don't want this to happen. Done. We don't like it. Peace. I told you how many times before?
Roll! 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 Shit! Roll!
He told you. How many times does he have to say it?
It's raw, Melissa!
Yes, chef.
It's raw, come on!
Yes, chef.
He told you. It's a raw deal. He don't want to make it. The one that doesn't sound confident about this deal is Big Baddie and billion-trillion-dollar company Microsoft. They're the ones that sound like they don't know what the hell they want to do. They're making spreadsheets in Excel. They're making charts to say why this is great for everybody, but still not answering questions. They are like, well, Nintendo is now part of it now, and NVIDIA, you're our good friends now. We're just going to put Call of Duty everywhere. Nobody asked Activision. Nobody asked goddamn Infinity Ward, hey, you want to make Switch games for the next 10 years? They're going to leave. They're going to leave. Those studios, Treyarch and stuff, they don't want to make Switch games for 10 years. There's a reason why they didn't make it for the last 10 years. But Phil promised it. He promised it. He promised it, so now it's an inked deal. He don't even own the goddamn company, and he promised it. He committed them to that. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. But it's for the gamer. It's for the gamer. I understand. It's for the gamer. Is it, Phil? You know what? Why don't we check out with Charlie Intel has to say about this. Charlie Intel is 2.6 million followers, and it's all about Call of Duty. Let's see what good old Charlie Intel has to say about this deal, this Call of Duty deal of the century, and what the future of Call of Duty is going to be. Let's go. Let's take a run down memory lane. Let's go see what 2.9 million followers for Charlie Intel have to say. In regards of Microsoft saying Activision can easily make Warzone and a new Call of Duty on the Switch, I remember back in 2019 hearing many Call of Duty devs saying the Switch would overheat with the way the engine was. Maybe things changed recently. Oh, man. Just a fun fact for everybody who wondered and didn't know. We heard years ago that Call of Duty 4 Remaster and Modern Warfare 2 campaign remaster only existed because Sony's PS Plus deal with Activision paid for it. And PS and Call of Duty deal is much more extensive than just content bonuses. There's more money at stake here with Call of Duty. Deals to put this on. What's up, Thrifty? Great show last night, man. Last I heard, years ago, it was part of the Sony deal, but never released because of Modern Warfare 2 campaign. They were the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, Modern Warfare 3 campaign remaster. There are things here where, and we'll get into the courtroom documents, but the promise that Microsoft made to put this thing on other platforms makes you question what's the future of Call of Duty if this deal goes through. Shout out to Maniolas, member 11 months. He goes, that shows confidence from what Jim Ryan was saying. Kratos 99, he goes, Jez, guess what? Bottom Knights runs better on PS5 than Series X and S. Another game that runs better on the PS5. Dude, just add them up. That's a whole can of worms right there. That whole booster bullshit. They put themselves in this position. I only play multiplats on Xbox because they're better. No, they're not. Microsoft cares about themselves. And that's been the biggest thing. This is all in benefit to them. This doesn't benefit us. Same thing for this console. This console was presented as a way of, oh, it's about you. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's better for them. These are blades for their cloud streaming. That's what the console exists for. The console doesn't exist. That's why they don't care about console sales. They'll just take them back and put them in the blades and power their cloud future, which they believe still exists. Maniolas goes, all of these guys are going to be leapfrogging to Deviation Games after Sony announced the acquisition. Customer. Exactly, Maniolas. The talent will leave. What's up, Salty? The talent will leave. This deal will go through. Some will stay, and there'll be a bunch of people leaving because they don't want to do this. They don't want to make games for a Switch. Know why? Because they haven't done it in the last 10 years. It doesn't make any business sense. The amount of time to port a game over to the Switch didn't yield the cost of telling developers to do this and the purchases. It didn't make it sense. That's why they haven't done it for the last decade. And you would think they would have because the Switch popularity is so high. That install base is so big. You not putting Call of Duty there has to be a certain reason why Call of Duty is not on that Switch. Because naturally, a huge install base like that could not be ignored. There's a technical challenge, probably in time, that they know the game, while it would be on tons of Switches, probably wouldn't sell back enough money to offset the cost of time to port this game and downscale it and cut what we need to make it. And that's a point that I do. It's a little side point to this whole Activision deal, but it kind of goes with it. Never say a game can't run on something. Like, they could get Call of Duty, the most incredible game 5 years from now, to run on a Switch. You could get anything to run on anything. Right? But the problem is, it's time. It's man hours. It's woman hours. It's work hours for people to optimize and try to cut and put and what works. And that's time. And if the time and the cost for me to put this to something weaker is going to be more than the amount of money that I'm going to get back from putting that product on that device, then it does not make business sense. It is a loss. So Call of Duty can run on a Switch. It's just going to take time. And they didn't feel that the business was there for the time and cost it would take to put it on there. Hence why they haven't done it. And Microsoft just said, guess what? You guys are putting in the time now because we made a promise, because the regulators wanted us to show that we care about our competition. Meanwhile, Nintendo's not their competition. And the CMA even said they don't even believe Call of Duty could be feature parity on a Switch. They know, they're like, wait a second, that game probably can't even run on there. And you're not talking about just this year and years before. You're talking about 10 years from now. Call of Duty. You would expect Call of Duty to get better over the next 10 years as the technology and their knowledge of tools and next-gen consoles. You would think it gets better. So you're telling me the Call of Duty now maybe not be able to run on a Switch. You're telling me the Call of Duty 8 years from now is going to be able to do it? Even if Nintendo keeps that portable model? And we're here talking about Call of Duty. Sony's very upset about Call of Duty. Jim Ryan says it's a raw deal. And I said, that is a statement of confidence. You want to see lack of confidence? Well, here's the gymnastics that Microsoft has been running with. There's nothing unique about the video games developed and published by Activision that is a must-have. That's what they put in the 2022 court filing last year. And now, they're whoring out Call of Duty to anybody that will take it. Nintendo, you want Call of Duty? It's a must-have, right? Now it's a must-have. This is mental gymnastics by them. Because this is what they tried to do at first. Aaron, that's exactly. That's the method. They're going to say it's too feature-rich, and let's make it a cloud game. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably what their long-term plan is, their slickstiness. But you look here, it says there's nothing unique about the video games here. That they make. The fires are burning. There's nothing unique. Because remember, when they first approached this deal with the EU and the CMA and the FTC, they downplayed everything. Everything they downplayed. Dude, they were like, Activision's not that big of a deal. Call of Duty, it does what it does. It didn't do too much. They made it. They're not a big deal. Uh-huh. Now, well, who wants Call of Duty? Step right up. Step right up to the Phil Ness clown show. Who wants Call of Duty? Come one, come all. This is Phil Ness. Let's go, everybody. Who wants Call of Duty? Nintendo, come over here. We're too small for the carnival rides.
You're my number one customer.
No, you're not. Get on in here, Nintendo. You care about Call of Duty. Get on in here. Come on, Nintendo. Come one, come all. It's Phil Ness. Come on, little Nintendo. You want to shoot some people on your Switch with those two little bitch-ass nubs that you got on that console? Come on down. What do you say? 540p? You got it. 540p going to Nintendo.
You just made the list.
You got a Call of Duty. This is Phil Ness. Who else wants Call of Duty? Step right up, Phil Ness Circus. Who's NVIDIA? Don't be shy. Get on over here. You want Call of Duty on your cloud, right? Yeah, but what about your cloud? I don't care about my cloud. I care about your cloud. Step right up. It's the Phil Ness Circus. You would like Call of Duty goes on your cloud. Thanks, but aren't you a competition? No, we have no competition because we suck. Put it on your cloud. Come on, come. Who else wants Call of Duty? Oh, who's that little boy over there? Oh, he looks a little upset. Who's that little boy over there? Come over here. Mr. Ryan, get over here. You want Call of Duty too? It's a raw deal. Oh my God, it's a raw deal. No, but we'll throw in some candy. And did I show you the Xbox refrigerator? Come on, come one, come all. Who wants Call of Duty? Who wants Call of Duty? Everybody, who else? Who else don't care about this game? It's stupid. I care. Come on, everybody. Come on. We got good Call of Duties. We got bad Call of Duties. We got smelly Call of Duties. We got all hairy Call of Duties. We got all the Call of Duties you want. We got Modern Warfare. We got Vanguard. We got all this Call of Duties. Who wants our Call of Duties? Come on, come on, come on. Come on. We got all different types of Call of Duties. It's smelly Call of Duty, hairy Call of Duty, stinky Call of Duty. We got Vanguard, we got World at War, we got all the Call of Duties. Come on, come on, come on. And if you could find a Call of Duty for cheaper than a penny, I'll give you Call of Duty cheaper than a penny. And if you could find any Call of Duty cheaper than that, fuck it. Holy shit, Phil Ness Spencer turning into Cheech and Chong. Holy Jesus. Goddamn Dust Till Dawn reference there if you didn't get it. That's a Phil Ness Call of Duty. He got all the Call of Duties. Come one, come all. My goodness. He'll give you Call of Duty for only a penny. Only a penny he'll give you Call of Duty for. If you can find it cheaper, play it. Yes, go watch the beginning of Dust Till Dawn. For the end of Dust Till Dawn, the Cheech in the front. The titty twister. That's Phil Ness in front of the goddamn Call of Duty Activision Studios. We got all the Call of Duties. That's him. Now he cares about it now. He cares about it now. Goddamn Phil Ness. Cheaper than a penny. Steady Flow, welcome to the VIP Grinders. Thrifty Game Review says, I need boosters and the flute. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, he has the flute. He needs the flute. Uh-oh. Here he comes. Man, oh man, here he comes. Phil. There he is. That's what he was. 70 billion, he said. Oh, Phil, get back over there. I had it all set up there, Phil. Oh my God. There he goes, jamming at the VGAs. There you go, Thrifty. Woo! My God. Wiggy Phil. There he is. Woo! Look at him jamming. The Phil Ness bullshit can't flow from that flute anymore. But there he is. Mr. Call of Duty care. He cares about Call of Duty right now. It's not important. It's Phil Spencer's twin brother. Damn, where's my? I got to put the chat on the side. I got screens all over the place here. Hold on. I gotta pop out the chat over here. You guys are wilding. It's Friday. Balloons. Get him in there. You want an encore flute? You want an encore flute? This is what it is. But anyway, Jesus. Yeah. Enrique Alvarez goes, we'll give you Crash and Spyro back, please. Exactly. No, my goodness. Yeah. Have they even, they have not. Where the hell is that friggin' chart? Where is it? Where is this thing? This thing is such a friggin' circus. Yeah, here it is. They made a friggin' website on this clown stuff. Like, this is, like, again, people want this, and this is the thing that grinds me up, right?
You're my #1 customer.
What grinds me up so much about this thing, like, yeah, here it is. What grinds me up so much about this thing is that people that are hyping for this thing don't even play Call of Duty. They could care less about Call of Duty. Phil serenading you at lunch. The tools. The flute is his tool. Like, this is the website that they put together for this thing. And I've shown this a couple of times here. But like the point is really well, I don't understand. Greater competition in traditional gaming where Sony and Nintendo will remain the biggest. More games on more devices, including Xbox, PlayStation, phones, and online. Choice in how and where people buy games with subscription and one-off purchase options. There it is. That's the Game Pass. That's Call of Duty in Game Pass. That's that. Which they have not addressed anymore, but they told Sony, they confirmed. They told Sony, you could put it in your service too. And Sony's like, wait a second. Wait a second.
Roll! 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 Shit! Roll!
They went to Phil. Jim Ryan looked at Phil and he goes,
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
An idiot sandwich, Chef Ramsay.
and Phil said he's an idiot sandwich. I don't want to put Call of Duty on my service. I will lose money. Like, there is definitely something that we don't see, right? People are like, well, Microsoft is giving Sony everything. There's stuff that we are not seeing. There's some deal between Call of Duty, Activision and Sony, where there's some perks. There's some sort of discount given. Sony's making some sort of money or revenue from this deal besides the game itself. There was definitely some negotiation going on there. And Sony's looking at that if this gets taken away, they cannot renegotiate with them anymore. They lose the leverage. See, as a third party, Activision needs Sony because Sony is making what? 13% of the revenue for Activision on consoles. Microsoft is negligible. Remember the little asterisk? It was not reportable on the Microsoft thing for Activision. Activision, as a third-party publisher, needs Microsoft. They need them. They need Sony, I mean. They need Sony for revenue. They need Sony for their percentages because Microsoft is irrelevant to them. So as a third-party publisher, you got to maintain that relationship. However, Microsoft, their Xbox really doesn't have a big impact as to the way they make their most money. So because of that, Sony and Activision have a real deal going on where there's some money somewhere that Sony's getting. And they don't want to renegotiate any of that because they know all their leverage is lost when Microsoft owns Activision. If Microsoft owns Activision, those negotiations, that stuff is done. All the perks, all the extra money that they're getting, the revenue, they're a business, okay? They're not here to line Phil Spencer's pockets. That's their competition. Phil could say whatever he wants, that he don't compete with them, but he's directly competing with them. You know, it's somebody who is like, nah, man, we're cool. I'm not competing with you. But then all of a sudden you go over there and you're taking the one big thing that's your leverage. You are competing with me. You could say whatever you want, but you're taking something from me. That's why Sony has been so stringent to this thing, because there's something going on where they're making some money. And people think that's horrible. They're like, bad Sony, boo Sony, just give it to Phil. Phil's such a nice guy. Microsoft's so great. They'll make Activision better. Who said that? Who have they made better that they've purchased? Who have they made better? They can't even make themselves better. They are negligible. They are 20% after 20 years. They are 30% console relevancy in this market. 20 years later, they have went downhill. They have devolved. They've killed their franchises in Crackdown and Halo and Gears. Who the hell knows what the next Gears are going to be? They're all their big franchises that carried them through the 360 are all wound out, burnt out. What have they made better? Oh, Perfect Dark, they're using other studios to support their first-party group of ragtag dudes. What have they made better? They don't have a portfolio of making stuff better. They have a portfolio of mismanagement, of dropping the ball, and trying to create this mobile bullshit market of services. We'll promise you later. We're sorry. We listen to you. They can't, and that's in the software. In the hardware, they can't even get out of their own way with what they want. That Xbox One was built for Kinect, 900p. We heard you. Here's the One X. Oh, that lasts 2.5 years. We'll get rid of that. Here's Booster, a weaker next-gen console that has features missing, such as ray tracing that we promised, and also modes of that we just, sorry, can't get it. And then we got the most powerful console, but we don't have a game to show its power ever since launch. They're messing up on the hardware. They're messing up on the software. That's why Stutter and Satya said that he had to compete.
So everything that we are doing with our content, with our our cloud, and
they had to trout him out to talk about it, but they have yet to prove who they can make better. And Activision's a huge ass company. And also, and all their financing, all their reports, down, 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 down. You're 2 years in and your console is on a down. Your console should be ramping up. It's ramping down. And that's exactly, Nick. They went right back to 900p. And people capping for that after they got raked through the mud with the 900p. So Sony holding strong and saying, hey, we don't want this deal, dude. Like we don't like it. We don't like the deal. We don't want to renegotiate. We just don't want this to go through. And the website, everybody just going after Sony. Listen, this is not Microsoft versus Sony. This is not Microsoft in a legal on one side of the table and Sony at the other side, and they're fighting for Call of Duty. No. This is Microsoft versus regulatory agencies. Microsoft versus the world. Microsoft versus FTC, CMA, and the EU. Microsoft doesn't have to beat Sony. Sony don't have to beat Microsoft. Sony can just sit there and go, we don't like it. We don't want it. Simple. Phil heard it before when we talked about Booster, you know? Phil knows exactly what he heard. They just don't want it. They just don't want the deal. And they could just sit there and be like, nah, man, it's not, I don't want to do it. They're not going to court. Sony's not the one that's on trial. Sony's not the one that's on the stand. It's like, I didn't do it. That's not Sony. Sony's not the defense. Sony's not going to go to jail. Like, Sony's not the one that's being accused of doing. Sony's just like, guys, yeah, we don't like it. It's a raw deal. We don't like it. And that's it. You act like Sony is on trial for murder. So I'm like, Sony's in court. Microsoft's going to prove them guilty and send them to jail. Well, no. This is you trying to prove your point. If you don't have good evidence as to why this is a good deal, see, the real question is, again, Microsoft should be the one that's putting facts down as to why this is a good deal. But instead, Microsoft's just blowing smoke up everybody's ass trying to finesse everybody. Well, we put it on the Switch and NVIDIA. Look how good we are now. It's fake as shit. Microsoft has no backbone. Microsoft has no confidence in this deal because they don't have a plan. They put up that bogus shit. We buy it. We're fighting saying, let us compete. But I said, even we buy it, we still suck. Well, that shit. Then why would you need to buy it if you're still going to suck after? I really do hope, Rat. I hope this is exactly what he said. Fuck your deal.
You know what? Nobody likes you, Booster.
I hope he said that right after that. Phil, nobody likes your booster ass. Nobody wants your piece of shit company. We don't want this deal. Fuck you. That's what he should have said. He should have added a fuck you at the end of that thing. Why do they need to agree to this? They are just they're a victim of the goddamn Microsoft decision to buy Activision. They are the direct competitor of the biggest IP that sells the best on their platform. They are the direct person that's going to be affected by this deal. Nintendo's not going to be affected by this deal. Not until Phil wagged his Call of Duty ass over there. The person that's going to be directly affected by this is Sony because of Call of Duty. They got pulled into this bullshit because Microsoft is desperate for bullshit for Game Pass. Sony got pulled into this stuff. Because now, dude, when you bought Bethesda, that's fine. But now you just came to my lawn and you're shitting on it right now. You know, you want to go shit on the neighbor's lawn, you could go take a dump right over there with Mr. Matt Booty and go shit on that lawn. As long as you don't cross this line, you can shit all you want over there. Now Phil Spencer took his dog and he's right in front of your fucking doorstep, sitting on your doorstep. That's what he's doing. Now, whoa. When you were shitting down the street, I didn't care. I stepped over the shit. You walk your dog, I don't care. But now all of a sudden, you're taking your dog and you're shitting right in front of my door. Now we got a problem. All right? Now we got a problem. Now your dog's shitting right where in front of my house. Now you got me involved. That's how Sony got pulled into this shit. And then they go, oh, well, did Microsoft sent them a subpoena? You know what, Aaron? It's not a Microsoft problem. It doesn't sound like a no, it's not. If Sony don't like the deal, that should not be a problem. That doesn't sound like a Microsoft problem. The problem is that Microsoft can't prove that this deal is worth it without Sony's blessing. That's the problem, Aaron. That's a weakness. That's the problem. The problem is that Microsoft needs Sony to agree to this shit in order for the deal to go through, because guess what? It is it is monopolistic. It is. The whole fucking movement of this thing is totally taking away from somebody to be better. We're going to take, and maybe not taking the physical game away, but taking the negotiating factors, the monetary benefits, all the other under the table shit that they negotiated. Sony didn't walk up to Activision with a fucking gun and going like, yo, bitch, better take my money. No, they didn't. Activision negotiated this deal with Sony because Sony was the favored platform. Sony was selling more. Sony had the leverage. So Activision agreed to whatever deal they had with Sony. Where was Phil? Where was Daddy Warbucks? Who knows? Who knows where Phil was? That's the question that all you fans of Xbox should be asking. Hey, Phil, when Sony made the deal with Activision, where were you? Well, we were grab-assing with Kinect. Oh, well, too bad. Missed out. Activision and Sony made that deal. That was a joint deal of whatever the hell they're doing. Well, problem is Microsoft now. That's what I'm saying. Microsoft needs Sony. You people are acting like Sony is the friggin' culprit.
You're my number one customer.
Sony's not the culprit. Sony is the friggin' got pulled in here because Phil just took his dog and took a shit right in front of Jim Ryan's house. And Jim Ryan's coming out here going, oh, get your fucking dog off my lawn. You were shitting on all the neighbors. I heard all about it. But now you're taking your dog and you're shitting in front of my house. Now you got a problem. I don't like it. But Phil's like, you know what? I'll pick up the shit. My dog shits in front of you. I'll pick it up every time. For the next 10 years, I'll pick up the shit in front of your house every time. All right? All right, Jim? My Phil and his dog. Phil and his booty dog. I'll shit in front of your house, right on your doorstep. I'm sorry, I can't control him. He shits on in front of your house. But guess what? For the next 10 years, I'll pick up this shit. And Jim Ryan's like, hey, how about this? How about you don't take your dog and shit in front of my house? How's that sound? That's all that's going on. Phil's just like, well, my dog's going to shit in front of your house for the next 10 years, but I'll pick it up, though. I guarantee I'll pick it up. Or Booty will do it. I'll pick it up. I guarantee it. But Jim Ryan's like, hey, how about you just don't have your dog shit in front of my house? Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. He likes to shit in front of your house, though. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So we're gonna have to have him do it in front of your house, and I'll just pick it up for the next 10 years. The problem is Microsoft needs Sony's blessing in order to have this deal go through because it's such a shallow piece of shit deal. That's the problem. That's why there's so much emphasis as to what Sony says, because Microsoft will have an easier way to get this deal done if Sony is on board with Microsoft owning Activision. That's how shallow this deal was. If this deal was coming from a place of strategy, coming from a place of actual demand and a good business sense deal, they wouldn't even need Sony. Sony could be doing whatever the hell they want. They wouldn't need Sony's blessing.
You're my number one customer.
But they need Sony's blessing because Sony's the biggest place where this sells, and they'll be directly affected by Microsoft owning this shit. And because of the deal being as shallow and empty as it is, Microsoft has a problem. Not Sony. Sony is detrimenting their business. Bullshit. Because you want to know why? When you have 80-20 Pac-Man Blue, you could do whatever you want, bitch. Because guess what? They need you. All right, you don't want to put Call of Duty? Good luck with that goddamn taint asshole of a goddamn profit that you get for putting it on an Xbox. Because Xbox is irrelevant, Phil. You made the console space irrelevant. It has no leverage at all for software. It doesn't. So guess what? You need Sony. You need Nintendo. You need them because you have turned yourself into a meaningless piece of shit. Because you dissolved your whole Xbox brand into nothingness. And you need your competition. You need Apple. You need Google because you don't have a fucking phone.
You're my number one customer.
You need Google Play. You need Apple. You need them. You need iPhones. You need Android phones. You need Samsung TVs. Do you have a fucking TV? You got a refrigerator, but you don't got a TV. You need Samsung. You need everybody, you piece of shit company. You need them all because you decided to back out of everything because you suck. That's why. You suck.
I am doing more with less. Rustin feel he's the best. Now sign your chest, I am stubborn, sucker. Listen to me.
They are a goddamn leech. And it's such petty bullshit. That's what grinds me up so much because they make it look like they're a hero, but they're such a desperate piece of shit, low-life friggin' company that has tons of money. And if they just looked inside themselves and said, guys, how do we be better? How do we be better? Let's not be sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
Let's make the stuff better for us instead of going to apologize why we suck. Reggie Skull with the 10. Grind them up, Jez. Goddamn right. Twisted Sink says, we only want King. Cool, sell Call of Duty. Actually, nah, clowns. Exactly. Well, Twisted, they can't sell off Call of Duty right now. You want to know why? Because they just promised Nintendo Call of Duty and Nvidia. Do you see what they've done to themselves? Now they leverage Call of Duty as a negotiating factor. So now they couldn't get rid of Call of Duty even if they tried because they went with binding agreements with Nvidia and Nintendo. They can't spin off Call of Duty. Sony's like, get rid of Call of Duty and we're fine. And that's what Sony's saying. So it's like, hey, you want to shit all over the neighbor's house, it's fine. Just don't shit in my house. So if you just stop shitting, we're fine. We're good. That's what he said. Get rid of Call of Duty, and you could keep King and everybody who you want. You want Diablo, take it all. Just don't take Call of Duty away. Problem is Microsoft now just made a bed that they can't sleep in right now, because now they just basically made a deal of Call of Duty as a leveraging factor for Nintendo, and now put it in magazines and stuff for 150 million people. Well, guess what? You can't take Call of Duty away now. You just promised it to the world. Tequila Knight says, Xbox. Don't be Xbox, be better. Exactly. Be better. But it just grinds me up, man, because it's like, Sony's the bad guy. And I'm not defending goddamn Sony as like, oh, Sony's great. But the logical thing is that Microsoft needs Sony because of their install base, because of this stupid deal. This deal is coming from emptiness. This was a swing for the fences desperation deal because Activision was caught grab-assing. Activision stock was down, and Phil went over there, sniffed out death, and offered them a buyout. Bobby Kotick knew his ass. They were protesting outside of his goddamn place. They knew that his ass was ready to be grinded up. And what happened? Somebody buy my dirty ass goddamn Ronald McDonald haircut. He was out there, oh, somebody buy my house. Somebody, Ronald McDonald, woo, here I come. Goddamn Kodak. And what happened? Phil said, yeah, sure, we got money, we'll buy you. You grab ass and you're about to get fired? Sure. Why not? Why not? But the real fact remains is that Sony could just sit here and just say, no deal. Dude, we don't want it. We don't like it. We're not going to sign it. And speaking about the deal, news comes out. A new statement from Sony says Microsoft, the current Call of Duty offer will imperably harm competition. And Microsoft showed the offer and asked the offer to have parts redacted from it. Does that come from a place of confidence? This deal that Lulu said, it's a great deal. Yeah, it's a great deal, but we're not going to share it with the public. Why? Phil? Anybody? It's such a great deal. They're pulling the bullshit of like, it's so great, I can't tell you about it. Phil's pulling his E3 bullshit. Now, you know what? It's such a great deal that I'm excited about to tell you about the stuff that I got to have redacted. And you see Microsoft strategy. What they're doing is they're doing the same thing that they tried to do with crossplay. They're going to social media. They got Lulu out there. And they got her saying things and going into the media, putting things in ads and all this other stuff because they're trying to get this social media thing because they can't get through to Sony. They can't get through to Sony. So because of that, they are putting all this stuff elsewhere, trying to get the media, trying to get the social media to get around this deal to make Sony look bad, to pressure them into this deal. That's exactly what they're trying to do. So here it is. Let's play Mad Libs, everybody. Right? Let's play some Mad Libs. What a deal. Grindhouse Laws in session. This is to the CMA, right? As the CMA is aware, Sony made known its concerns about the transaction to Microsoft almost a year ago. See, this is Microsoft to the CMA. This is not Microsoft versus Sony. Sony's like, guys, we have a problem with this. Okay, this is going to take money out of our pocket. Right? They have dragged their feet, engaged only when sensed the regulatory outlook was darkening, and favored negotiating in the media over engaging with SIE. Microsoft most recent, but this is Sony's response. This is Sony's response to the proposal of keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation and saying why the behavioral commitment will be difficult, because they want one where they just shed it off. They want to, get rid of it. They don't want a behavioral change because they can't trust them. So they go, Microsoft, and they said, in favor of negotiating in the media over engaging with Sony. Yeah. Lulu! Microsoft's most recent proposal, which Sony received blank, here redacted, is telling. That proposal fails to provide adequate protection for Sony's access to Call of Duty for competition. Instead, it reveals Microsoft's lack of commitment to ensuring full and equal access to Call of Duty, confirms the risks of a behavioral remedy outlined in the guidelines, and reinforces Sony's belief that Microsoft intends to use Call of Duty strategically to dominate the gaming sector. Okay. Because why else would they be buying them? Oh, it's not about Call of Duty, but now they're using Call. Anyway, there we go. For a buy-to-play and Microsoft Game Services on console, as well as for cloud, Microsoft's proposal suffers from 4 main deficiencies. The standard of a parity obligation. Hit that like button, everybody. Microsoft's scope to deviate from the agreement, pricing, and term. So, the parity. Here we go. Microsoft's proposal does not offer a clear commitment to parity that is legally hard-edged and enforceable, despite its repeated public utterances to the contrary. Under its proposal, Microsoft is obliged to use blank parity between PlayStation and Xbox and their respective services. This is vague and weak commitment that does not give Sony the assurance that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation on terms that will remain PlayStation's competitiveness. Was it references to cloud? Who knows? I think two purposes, right? I think Sony knows that Microsoft makes shit games, and they don't want their shit. They don't want to. They don't want Microsoft to make Call of Duty about shit. They know Microsoft can't make games. Let us compete, they say. Deviate. Microsoft's proposal allows too wide of a scope for Microsoft to deviate from a weak commitment on parity. Under the proposed terms, Microsoft would blank. This is vague and low bar and would essentially blank. Then Microsoft would be willing to invest. And given that Microsoft would be incentivized not to invest in the performance of Call of Duty on PlayStation as a weakened PlayStation. I don't know where the next page is, but Microsoft will not invest. And the thing is like, as I was saying before, as a third party, Activision has all, like, they want the best for PlayStation where their game will be played and probably purchased the most. But they're saying, well, if Microsoft owns it, they're incentivized. They're not really incentivized to make this play great on PlayStation because they are not invested in PlayStation brand. They're not a third party. They're not going to depend on success. Like, see, when you're an independent or a third party, you have to appease the PlayStation and the Xbox. Like, you got to make your game work where it needs to work. But if you own it, they really are not incentivized to make this play better or best on PlayStation. Hell no. Like, what would you do? Like, I would say the same shit. I'm like, wait a second. This hot dog guy is making great hot dogs for me and for you. That's great. He cares about making sure that we have great hot dogs, both of us, because he is an independent party. He's the hot dog guy. But what happens if my friend goes, you know what? I'm buying his hot dog stand and buying the hot dogs. Well, now he's owned by my friend. Well, guess what? My friend now has privilege to determine whatever the hell those hot dogs are going to be. That guy doesn't need to satisfy me anymore with the hot dogs. He don't care. He don't have to like make great hot dogs for me anymore. Microsoft got it. Like, what are you doing? They're taking an independent worker, a person that's independent of both companies, and putting them under one roof. How do you say that, oh, well, I'm still important? You're really not, because they're getting money hatted by them. That's all they're saying there. Not saying they're going to sabotage it, which they did say to sabotage, though. And is Sony being petty? Is Sony being like foot in the ground? Like, of course they are. Because they can. They can. Because they're not the ones in court. They're not the ones. Pause. Time for some hot dogs. But they don't have they don't have the incentive to do that anymore. Bill Ness hot dog. That's right. But the thing is like they are being hard. They're playing hard, right? They're playing tough. But why would you concede when you know that there's already doubts with the CMA, the FTC, the EU? They're not all running around going, this is great for gaming. Dude, they are just not, they're suspect about this whole idea too. And Sony's saying, hey, we don't like it. Raw deal. Yeah, it puts pressure on it. But again, Microsoft needs Sony more than Sony needs Microsoft. That's what people don't get. They need Sony to bend the knee, to concede, because then it justifies that this is great for gaming. But guess what? Sony's not doing it. And it puts Microsoft in a position that Microsoft really needs to think about how they could prove that this is a good deal, because they haven't. It's been all it's all hyperbole. Oh, better for gamers, better for developers, better for how? It's better for everybody. How? It's better. How is it better? It's just better. Phil, how is it better? Oh no! True Virgil with the $1.99. He goes, Phil can feed me hot dogs all day.
You're my number one customer.
True Virgil, cue the song.
Please, I will bend over and touch.
Oh
Tell
no!
me it's better when we all play the make exclusive games and like. To my face, thank you, Phil.
Oh man, not like this, True Virgil. So now, the next page, what is the next one? There we go. What the hell? Oh, was it, let me see if it was this one. PlayStation. Oh, there we go. So yeah, so it continues here, that PlayStation, so it will be a weakened PlayStation would provide switching to Xbox is effectively meaningless. I don't know what that's redacted. Pricing to buy to play. Now, here's the other one. True Virgil is crazy. Shout out True Virgil. Under Microsoft's proposal, SIE can license Call of Duty from Microsoft for a price. This is that back-end stuff that I was mentioning that we don't really know about. For a price based on something. As a result of this licensing fee, Microsoft effectively has a lever over Sony to fix the PlayStation retail price for Call of Duty and soften competition against Xbox. Microsoft's proposal will therefore reduce competition between PlayStation and Xbox in terms of pricing, as compared to pre-transition scenarios where Sony and Microsoft negotiate terms for Call of Duty with an independent Activision on the merits, and then compete against one another on retail prices. That's exactly what I was saying about the hot dogs. Pause. It's removing Sony's negotiations with this independent publisher. That's the problem. It says it right there. Microsoft's proposal will reduce competition because typically we just go to Activision and go, hey, what's the pricing, dude? Okay, this, I agree. And it's all done. Activision's independent. But now Activision becomes part of Microsoft. Well, guess what? Microsoft determines everything. They don't have to negotiate anything with Activision. They could come out and say, you're charging this to Sony. We're done. And Sony can't say anything. That's the problem here. The problem is there. In this thing, it's a pre-transaction scenario where Sony and Microsoft negotiate terms of Call of Duty with an independent Activision on the merits. Whereas, as Microsoft owns it, Microsoft has a lever, has leverage to fix the price and kind of outprice it. Who would sign that? Exactly, Perp. Who would say, you know what, Microsoft? Great deal. We're in. No way. I would say the same shit.
Roll! Shit!
Raw deal.
It's raw, Melissa!
Yes, chef.
It's raw, come on!
Yes, chef.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Now, pricing for Microsoft. Like, who would sign this? Who? And you see these people saying, like, Jim Ryan, why would you say such a thing? Just sign this great deal. Like, why? This is not bias from Sony. This is actually facts. You're taking a neutral party and you're putting them under their competition. Well, guess what? They're not neutral anymore. They're not neutral anymore. So what are you going to do? Well, I negotiate with this neutral party every year. Well, guess what? They're not part of it. Pricing for Metal Gear Solid. I wish it was we were talking about Metal Gear Solid and not this horse shit. Microsoft's proposal in MG services is even more troubling, they said. That shit's whole black. That thing is all retracted. That whole paragraph that whole thing got retracted right there. Oh, damn, pause. That whole thing is the whole thing got pulled out. This is the Game Pass paragraph. This is the Game Pass paragraph. They got this thing out. Microsoft proposes to license blank if Sony agrees to pay blank under the terms of proposal that amount blank. This would commercially destroy Sony's MGS business model. A yearly subscription. Oh, this is the offering to put it in plus. Oh, okay. This is like the deal to like, hey, you pay us a license for us to put code. That's probably what this paragraph is. You pay us to put this game in your service. That's probably where that was going. This would commercially destroy their business model. A yearly subscription to PlayStation Plus Extra, Sony's mid-tier Microsoft service, is priced at around $100. The buy-to-play retail price of of Call of Duty is $70. Under Microsoft's proposed terms, Sony would therefore be required to play blank. As the chart below shows, this would leave Sony with only blank of full annual subscriptions. Dude, that paragraph there shows why Game Pass is a losing business.
Oh, and second up too. New games are coming fast. 12 minutes and 80s. And
that shows it right there. Game Pass is a loss leader.
What to play first and what to play last. To ground, true and doom.
There it is. Like, from what I'm reading, these don't seem like lies. These don't seem like challenges. It seems like Microsoft has nothing to lose. It seems like you got somebody here that is willing to do whatever, has nothing to lose, doesn't care about the franchises, doesn't care about making money on this thing, doesn't care about anything. They just want the deal to go through. A desperation. Because none of this makes business sense. And Sony's like, wait, they're not pushing that nonsensical business stuff onto us. If they want to throw a $70 game in their cheap-ass service, let them do that. But don't do that to us and put us in a predicament where we get a $70 game selling more on our console nonetheless and telling us to throw this into a $100 a year bill. And what do we get? Instead of like, $60 a game profit for us, we're going to get maybe $10 a game because we're giving it in a bogus-ass service. Don't put your loss-leading model on us. Like, that's exactly what that is. It just shows that Microsoft doesn't care. And as a gamer, you shouldn't want Microsoft just whoring out Call of Duty. Put it in your service, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Like, where is the care for the IP? Where is the future of this IP? Where is this whole nurturing and development that Microsoft is going to offer for Call of Duty? Where is all that? This sounds like, dude, they got a gold piece and they just want to spread it out. Who cares? Who cares? Take it. Who cares? We don't want it. We don't want Call of Duty. Put it on your service if you're complaining. Sony's like, wait a second. We don't want it in our service. We sell. Our games sell. Games sell on our platform. We make better money of the sale than having you throw it in a service. And my point is like, hey, is that good for us? Is that good for this? I'm not talking about what's good for us. I'm talking about why is Sony evil for this? Like, why is this the bad guy? Like, I wouldn't sign this deal. As a business person, look what they did to Halo. Exactly. As a business, I would have signed this. I'm like, wait a second. I'm making good money on this game, and now all of a sudden, and people don't have a problem to buy it. Until Microsoft makes it a Halo and nobody wants to buy it. And you got to remember, that's the other thing, too. That's the other issue here. If that's the future that Microsoft feels for Call of Duty, what do you think the future of Call of Duty is going to be? Is it going to be split? Game campaign here and this there? What's going to happen to Call of Duty as a gamer? See you, Carol. Right? What happens as a gamer? What happens to this franchise? If Microsoft just wants to, who cares? And if Microsoft's practicing that game, oh, we're going to take this $7 game and throw it in our service, they're not stupid. They're going to make the game scoped, focused, smaller. Just ask Halo. 1 map, 2 map, 1 gun in 2.5 years. Day 1 content. Scoping. Seasonal. What are they going to do? They're going to make it smaller, fitting for a subscription model. And that affects us. That gives us less. But they want us to pay more in subscriptions. That doesn't guarantee you the biggest, best game. It makes the market, it makes the big games that we come to know turn into little service bitch-ass games. I'm sorry, we're hearing updates. Here's a gun. They put 1 gun in Halo in 2.5 years. 1 gun. Exactly. Halo is a perfect example. You could say, oh, well, this is all fear-mongering. No, it's not. Joe, look at Halo. I've been talking about Halo going to be like that because of this model for 2-3 years before Halo released. And look at that. And now they got to put this game on a Switch. Who knows if they don't blame the Switch? Well, we wanted to put a full campaign in Call of Duty, but we're putting it on the Switch, so it's going to be scoped down. Meanwhile, that's their excuse why the game is a service game, day 1. For example, that Elixo Prime, that Prime game from some Primal, Exo Primal. Man, when they showed that at Capcom's thing yesterday, I was like, oh, it looks like a Horde game. Okay, well, it looks all right. I'm like, and they're like, yep, Horde mode of dinosaurs. Horde. I'm like, is there a campaign? Like, what is this game? It's just waves of dinosaurs coming at you? A Horde mode? Oh, yeah, the primary game mode is Horde mode. And I'm like, there's a Horde mode? Okay, wait. Now I'm scratching my head because I was interested in it. Now I'm scratching my head. And now they have a whole commercial for a battle pass and seasons. And I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm just going to grind against... And then all of a sudden you see at the end, Game Pass. And I'm like, holy, there you go. They took a game that I thought you're fighting dinosaurs in exosuits. Wow, what a great game. Like Devil May Cry, kind of like co-op Devil May Cry. And it turned it in. No, it's just a Horde game. As a whole, look at this battle pass. Look at all these cosmetics. Look at all this stuff. I'm like, oh, no. And then at the end, it's like Game Pass. I'm like, there you go. You just killed all my interest for the whole goddamn game. When you showed me all the stuff locked behind goddamn battle passes. No campaign. I thought it was going to be like a co-op campaign against dinosaurs. And no. It's a bunch of Horde dinosaur mode. Which they already did something like that in first person. Like back for the ass. But there you go. Right at the end, Game Pass. I'm like, oh, shit. There you go. Those are the kind of games. Call of Duty, Horde mode, who the hell knows? But this is a point right here that Sony has a different strategy for their PlayStation Plus. They don't want to put big budget day 1 $70 games in there because the cost of their PlayStation Plus might have to increase. And that's another thing for us. But look, they don't want to do it. And then the final thing, this is the chart, which is redacted. Because you want to know why Microsoft redacted this chart. You want to know why? Because this will prove that Game Pass is losing a shit ton of money. That's why they want this redacted. I could see why. Now that I'm reading about this, Sony were required to pay blank, 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 blank. And as the chart below shows, this would leave Sony with only blank full 100 annual subscription. So it will show how much money they will be losing by putting a day one $70 game in their service. Boom. Hook, line, and sinker, grinders. We got them. We got them. No wonder Microsoft wanted it redacted. No wonder. Stutter and Satya, explain yourself.
And so everything that we are doing with...
Shut up. I want an answer from Phil. Phil, explain yourself. Phil.
Games to our platform, because in the end I think the gamers play the games.
Of course they do.
They don't play the studios.
That
they
is
don't
true.
play the resolution numbers, right? They play the games, and we want to make sure the best games are there.
But if you're
They don't want that. They don't want to show how much Sony is losing by putting a $70 game in their day one in a subscription service. There it is. That's why Microsoft asked it to be redacted.
Do not be sorry.
It wasn't Sony.
Better.
Sony's like, hey, this is a good deal, Gad. Show it to the world. And Microsoft's like, no, redact it, please. Lulu said it's a great deal. Oh, redact it. We're hiding it. We're hiding it. Why? Show it. It's such a great deal, Microsoft. You got social media involved, you stupid clowns. You want Lulus and everybody else going out there promoting why Sony's a bad guy. Show the deal, bitch. What you hiding? What are you hiding?
Another one.
Come on. Come on, Phil. Is this confidence? Microsoft's like, you know what? Yeah, you gotta hide all those stats right there because it proves that basically our model fucking sucks. Oh, because Microsoft asked this to be redacted, not Sony. Sony's like, show it. Jim Ryan's like, show it. Let the deal do the talking.
Enough from me. We're gonna have the games do our talking.
Jim Ryan's like, show it. Go ahead. Show them what you're giving us. Show them what a raw deal this is. Go ahead, Phil. Show them.
The three of you are pathetic. You don't care.
I care,
You're
Chef.
way behind, and you haven't got a fucking clue.
There we go. That was Jim Ryan said when he saw that. Jim Ryan walked right in there. He looked at Greenberg. He looked at friggin' Major Nelson. He looked at Phil Spencer, Satya, Brad Sams. This is what I got a recording. Lulu got inside knowledge. I got microphones inside the CMA, bitches. I got microphones in there. I heard what Jim Ryan said to Phil and to goddamn Brad Sims when they showed this shit. I got it right here. I just played it. I'm going to play it again for everybody. But Lulu could say that what he said. Oh, Jim Ryan said that? Okay, well, guess what? I got microphones in there too, ass. The insiders. All right? The Grindhouse. I got microphones inside that meeting right there. I heard what Jim Ryan said. Jim Ryan pointed to all three of those fucking clowns and said this.
The three of you are pathetic. You don't care.
I care,
You're
Chef.
way behind, and you haven't got a fucking clue. Can we work together as a team?
There you go. Jim Ryan told them all off. All right? You heard it here first. You heard it here first. I got microphones inside the CMA meeting. I got the microphone. That was said on February 21st. That's what I heard. There's the direct quote from Jim Ryan. Publish it. Get the media. Come on. I got 2,000 subscribers now. I should be on goddamn all the channels right now. You heard it here first. Clip this segment. Jim Ryan talking to Phil, Brad Sims, and whoever else was there. But I got the recording of Jim Ryan talking to them when he walked in there and they showed him this deal.
The three of you are pathetic. You don't care.
I care,
You're
Chef.
way behind, and you haven't got a fucking clue. Can we work together
Wow.
as a team?
That was heated. My goodness. Incredible.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what?
Oh my God, man. He was ruthless. Jim Ryan was ruthless in there.
Food for to catch a rat.
So we have got rats here.
Rat is all over the place.
He confirmed there were rats inside the meeting. And then they offered him lunch. And Jim Ryan was like,
Where's the lamb sauce? It's raw, Melissa.
Yes, chef.
It's raw. Come on.
Yes, chef.
dude, incredible. That's inside knowledge right here from the Gaming Grindhouse. You got the raw deal of everything that happened at that meeting. Incredible. Incredible. So, Microsoft, show the chart. What are you afraid of? Show it. Uh-oh, Phil Ness flute. He goes that we're not supposed to see it. Microsoft could moreover drive up the price for Call of Duty even further. Well, whatever they redacted from there. Sony would be forced to either raise the price of its MGS service. It's like I said. Oh, man, that's why this whole shit's blacked out, because this shows that Microsoft's business model is losing money. Oh, yeah. This leaked out. If this information here leaked out, man, there will be questions as to Microsoft's business model of Game Pass. Holy crap. Holy crap. That's exactly why this is redacted. That's why Microsoft requested it. Phil's right here. Here he is. He's like, don't mind. Phil's like, don't mind the redacted stuff of why Game Pass fails. Phil's like, don't mind this, please. But please listen to my flute playing. Phil's like, hey, let me play. He whipped out the flute at the meeting. He goes, hold on. We need to cool our tongues. Let me play some flute. Man, that was an intense friggin' meeting. Holy crap.
The three of you are pathetic. You don't care.
I care,
You're
Chef.
way behind and you haven't got a fucking clue. Can we work together as a team?
Wow. The recordings are powerful from that meeting. So, yeah. Why would Microsoft want this redacted? Because, yeah, it will show that Game Pass is not a good business and they don't share their business. The answer is right here. That's why you come to the Gaming Grindhouse. We find exactly what's going on here. Why would Microsoft want this redacted if it's such a great deal? There you go. He's Matt Booty. Phil's blowing on the Matt Booty hole. Oh, whew. What a Friday, man. Whatever. Hit that like button, grinders. Go just about 300 in here. Hit that like button. We got 2,000 subscribers. Hit that VIP if you're new. You flex those emojis. Goddamn Phil Ness flutes. Those flutes have been flowing right there. Nobody wants to boost the deal. And then, now comes the last straw to this thing, is that Sony would force to raise the price to compensate for a $70 game that traditionally sells in our service, or could not offer Call of Duty at all on the service, which will be Call of Duty will become a Game Pass exclusive by default then, and thereby dominate services in the future. It's not surprising that this would be a result from Microsoft's proposal. This is Microsoft's desired outcome. This could be Microsoft's desired outcome. Microsoft has already told the CMA that it plans on differentiating Game Pass by not making Activision titles available in the same manner or at the same time as other subscription services. Ooh. That's a quote. That's a quote. So they're already promising like, but they're saying, you were going to price us out of this. So basically what you want to do is like, yeah, put it in your service, but that will be a loss for Sony. Now remember, Sony's PlayStation business is their lifeblood. Okay? This is a side deal. That's why Microsoft could have that whole thing charted, blocked out. Because Microsoft doesn't care to lose money. They are desperate. They don't care. That's what I said. It's a desperation move. So like, yeah, you know what? Put it in your Call. They know that Sony can't afford to put this shit in Call of Duty in a service. They'll be losing money. They know that. So guess what? Don't put it in your service. I don't care. Well, then guess what? Now you just made yourself have a Game Pass exclusive. Who's going to buy $70 for my game? And they said, Microsoft has this may be this is Microsoft's desired outcome. They might have wanted done that, undercutting the industry. Exactly. sprinting snail. This is exactly what they're doing. They're undercutting this. This is all monopolistic moves, dude. Yeah, you know what? Put it over there. Who cares? They're making it look like it's a hand-me-out, but realize it's self-inflicting to the business. That's what they're doing. They're like, yeah, you know what? Put it in your service. We know you can't afford it. So then if you don't put it in your service, that's your fault. That's your fault. But we're selling the game. It's making money on our platform. Why would we put it in the service and lose money? Then our whole business model, our income, our numbers are now skewed because now a huge chunk. This is not off the shelf goddamn third party game. This is Call of Duty. Yeah, boy, get that beer. This is Call of Duty. We can't be like this will be a significant amount of money that we're not going to get. Well, that sounds like a you problem. We offered it, but we will be undercutting ourselves. We'll be losing money on this thing. And potentially you could kind of price us out. You would sign that deal. Or would you say the same thing Jim Ryan said? This doesn't work out for us. And we're your main competitor. We're going to be the most affected. Activision, Blizzard, King. The most affected company out of all this thing is Sony. That's it. Because Call of Duty is the biggest seller on PlayStation and has been for the last decade. You're taking away something that they have made money on. And I'm saying from a business perspective, why wouldn't you say this? So why is Sony bad? Again, why is Sony evil for agreeing to this? Would you? The only people that would agree to this are people that don't give a shit. And that's exactly what all of Xbox Twitter has become. There are a bunch of people that don't care about Call of Duty. They never buy Call of Duty, but they sit around and go, Call of Duty Game Pass will be a great value. Well, not to you. You don't buy it. What does it matter? You don't play it. But it's coming to Game Pass. I'll try it. What? You'll try it in Game Pass? So you want all this shit to burn so you could try a game that you don't care about and would buy at any discount. I don't play Call of Duty, but it'll be nice to have it in Game Pass. What a great win for Game Pass. Because they know that it's done. They know that Xbox is burnt up. They need good news because it's not their games. And again, just Mary says here, she just Sony likes to protect the industry, not themselves. They are protecting themselves, but to protect the industry, Microsoft could do this with other companies. They could just buy EA and go, well, we're putting it on a Switch. We're good. And they could undercut everybody in the industry. That's what they can do. They're undercutting them. Term. Microsoft proposes a blank term for buy-to-play and services on console and a blank for cloud. So it sounds like they're going to stagger it. It doesn't sound like day and date. Neither is a sufficient time period to enable them to develop a rival to the industry for the most part. So this sounds like the 10-year term. There's probably 10 years in there. As the CMA itself recognizes, quote, it's very unlikely that a game on the same scale would emerge in the near future. According once that the licensing period end and Microsoft forecloses PlayStation access, gamers will be left with little choice to what platform to play. Sony's thinking after the 10 years, what would Microsoft do? This is what I was saying before with the Nintendo. So you're putting Call of Duty on Nintendo for 10 years. Well, you just built an install base there. They're expected to play Call of Duty on a Switch. What happens in 10 years? You just pull it? Thanks. I'm glad we built this install base over the last decade. Thank you for letting us win with the CMA. And now you can come to Xbox or our cloud or PC if you want to play Call of Duty anymore, Switch owners. That's your strategy? Your strategy is to create an install base? That makes no sense. And then pull it. Who would sign for that? Only a Game Passer.
Oh, and Psychonauts 2. New games are coming fast. 12 minutes and 80s. And they're all what to play first and what to play last. I'm at to ground true and doom, 'cause they're all on Game Pass. Among Us, the Ascent, and more. On Game
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate. Oh, no. Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate. Activate.
So that looks like it's the end of that thing. But they want it redacted. Redact this thing. Look at these clowns. Video game demo. That's for the gaming grindhouse. And then what was the other thing I wanted to bring up here that I had? This was the other thing here. They're going to be pulling Call of Duty Mobile off, and they're going to make Warzone Mobile. Like I said, Call of Duty's everywhere. Microsoft's not making this more accessible. It's everywhere to begin with. They're not no godsend. And that's why I don't understand. Like, why are they like this God-sending angel that they're saving the deal, and they're not saving anything? But this is the other thing, too, that Sony kind of put in their thing. And I'm not going to read it all. God damn it, this is ridiculous. Grindhouse law. But I think it's very telling. And Sony brought up the violations that Microsoft had to their promises to the EU. So Microsoft made past commitments to regulators, and they did not keep these commitments. So this is where their distrust for Microsoft's raw deal is. So one of them was the European Commission in 2004. They committed abuse via by its dominant Windows operating system by depriving rivals of indispensable, inoperable information. The EC ordered Microsoft to supply the input to rivals for reasonable fees, and Microsoft agreed to follow. Well, Microsoft violated this by demanding unreasonable royalty fees and patent payments for interoperability information. The fine was Microsoft was the first company in 50 years of EU competition policy that the Commission had to fine for failure to comply with an antitrust decision. I hope today's decision closes a dark chapter in Microsoft's record of non-compliance. Uh-oh, that's not a good word in regulatory. Non-compliance. Nope, you don't want to be on that end of a regulatory agency. The word of non-compliance. Nope, nope, nope. The second one was in 2009, where they illegally tied its Internet Explorer browser to Windows OS. To resolve the case, Microsoft promised the EC that, among other things, Windows would include an internet browser choice to enable users to select their default browser. But Phil Ness came in. Microsoft removed the browser choice screen from its Windows Service Pack in 2011 and 2012. So at first they appeared as the good guy. Oh, we're going to have a choice in 2009. But then slightly 2 years later, we'll just pull that away in an update, causing Microsoft to get a fine of $731 million for violating its commitments. Microsoft took full responsibility for the breach and apologized for it. Ah, where do we hear that all the time? We're sorry, so sorry. We heard you. We're sorry, so sorry. We will be better. Sorry. Now comes the nitty-gritty. While not a violation of a behavioral commitment, and Microsoft conducted in relation to ZeniMax acquisition, provides additional evidence of why behavioral commitment should be approached with a caution. When Microsoft proposed acquiring ZeniMax, it told the EC, quote, it would not have the incentive to cease or limit making ZeniMax games available for purchase on rival consoles. Say it again with heart. It would not have the incentive to cease or limit making ZeniMax games on other consoles. Microsoft also publicly stated to investors that, quote, we highly encourage cross-platform play because it's good for gaming. It's good for us. We don't have intentions of just pulling all Bethesda games out. So they didn't do that. They didn't pull all the Bethesda games out. But as you know, here. But soon after the acquisition closed, Xbox head Phil Ness revealed that all along the deal was about delivering great exclusive games. Oh. Phil Ness.
You have me right. Con men, thieves, degenerates, lowlifes, thugs, criminals.
We weren't here to take take games away from other consoles. And then as soon as the deal closed, he goes, it's about delivering great exclusive games. Oh man, Phil. They got you, Mr. Phil. They never trust a Phil Spencer. Here he comes right here. He goes, oh man. There it is. Never trust a Phil Spencer. He played that flute right up their ass. Soon as it went through, exclusives. He's like, I got that flute. I will make a Will sigh. We're sorry song is incoming, grinders. I know the next line. We just had to take a pause for Phil Ness, the Phil Ness quote. And then here it is. Mr. Spencer later confirmed the upcoming releases of 2 Bethesda games, Starfield and Elder Scrolls, which will be Xbox exclusives. In response to the news, Pete Hines, Bethesda's marketing boss, said, sorry. All I can really say is I apologize because I'm certain that's frustrating to folks, but there's not a whole lot we can do.
Roll! It's raw, Melissa!
Yes, Chef.
It's raw, come on!
Yes, Chef.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Idiot sandwich what? Where's the lamb sauce? The 3 of you are pathetic. You don't care. I care, You're
Chef.
way behind and you haven't got a fucking clue. Can we work together as a team?
Guys, is this lies? Is this hyperbole? Is this fakeness? Is this not true? Phil Ness in court, dude. Phil Ness in court.
Enough talk. Into the boat. Into the tunnel. Get to the chopper.
Hold on.
All
Holy Spirit,
time.
activate.
Oh, no.
Holy
Oh,
Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Activate. Activate.
What was that quote? What was that quote? It would not have incentive of limiting or making games available for purchase on rival consoles. But as soon as you buy it, you say it's all about exclusive games. And don't tell me that's bullshit, because when they were acquiring them, we didn't know Starfield was going to be exclusive until they sat around and did that circle jerk after they acquired them. Meanwhile, they're here promising Call of Duty to the Switch without ownership of Activision. They were sly as hell. They played that ZeniMax deal like a fiddle, like a flute. We have no incentive. We have, Bethesda games will be everywhere. We have no incentive. And I read those CMA documents, the approval. I showed it here on Grindhouse Law, the first episode of Grindhouse Law. We don't care. Yeah, we have no incentive to take to make it only games for our platform. More people to play. It's all about bringing our games to more people. That's all they said, right? You guys are quoting it in the chat. It's about bringing our games to more people. It's about more people playing games. That's what we're here for. But meanwhile, as soon as the Activision deal goes through, as soon as that ZeniMax, you go, deliver great game exclusive. It's like, whoa. And who's sharing this? Let's see. A diehard PlayStation fan? A pony? No. Charlie Intel. 2.6 million followers of Call of Duty. Sony directly calls out Microsoft for their actions during the Bethesda deal. It even includes direct quotes from Microsoft executives. And now here comes the illogical people going like, well, what about Spider-Man? You know what? Take a walk, dude. This is nowhere near the first party exclusive talk or what Sony even does. And like I said before, Sony is negotiating. Marvel went to Xbox and said, do you want to make a game? And they turned it down. Sony said, sure, we will negotiate with Marvel to make a game. That is a business between two businesses to decide to make it exclusive. That is negotiation. That's the thing that Sony wants to keep with Call of Duty. They want to keep the ability to negotiate, keep Call of Duty a third-party independent. They don't want Call of Duty to go under. Sony accepted Marvel and decided to work with them. Microsoft rejected Spider-Man. They've rejected games because that wasn't in their business model. So you can't compare these exclusive deals, even with Final Fantasy. That is a negotiation with Square Enix, with Square and Sony for Final Fantasy 16. Like I said, Sony's not threatening Square, you better make this on our console or else. No. That's a good Square is like, sure, we won't put it on Game Pass. Sure, we won't put it on Xbox. We don't want to. Pete Hines said, when you could focus on one platform like we did with Deathloop, it's better production because we focus on one platform. Developers may want to work with only one platform, especially if it's an 80-20 Pac-Man. So it's not the same thing. But when you own the whole ass publisher, all negotiation goes out the door. Microsoft doesn't have to negotiate Starfield with Pete Hines. No, Starfield will be on Game Pass and cloud and on $70 day one. Thank you. Call of Duty will be on Switch and PlayStation day one. Thank you. Microsoft's not negotiating anything. They don't have to negotiate anything because they own them. That's the whole reason why, if it was about games, for you guys out there that still don't get it, if it was about games, Microsoft could bring you games in an instant. A snap of the finger. They could go out there and negotiate deals and get you exclusives and get you games instantly. They don't need to buy companies. They don't need to buy publishers to bring you games. They don't need to do that. They could go out there. They could have bidded for Deathloop. They could have went out there and bidded for Final Fantasy day one on their console. They could have done that. But you sit there on Twitter, you sit there on your podcast and never ask why. Why is Microsoft not doing? They say they're doing it for the gamer. Why are they not bringing the games to me? But you want to make bad Sony, bad Pony, bad everybody, but Phil, good. No, you need to ask the real questions. If it's about bringing games to that platform, whatever the platform is, a console, PC, whatever it is, the Game Pass, where is that money in trying to bring that stuff to you? Bill said it here.
Games to our platform, because in the end I think the gamers play the games.
Of course they do.
They don't play the studios. They don't
true.
play the resolution numbers, right? They play the games, and we want to make sure the best games are there.
But if
he said it right there. Your savior. Why isn't those questions being asked to them? They could bring you games instantly. with all that money? If Starfield, they saw such value in Bethesda, why weren't they there at the bargaining table for Deathloop? If they thought that Bethesda at ZeniMax Studios was such an incredible publisher, where were they with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo to outbid Sony? Where was Microsoft at that table? Where were their deals? They just didn't want to do it. And that's the question you got to say. Well, Microsoft, why don't you want to make these deals? What happened with Titanfall and Lost Odyssey, Lost Planet, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, Gears of War, when it was owned by Epic? Where were those dudes making those offers now? Where is everybody? Where are those offers? You did it with Tomb Raider, and you said, oh, I'm not doing it again. Well, why? Why did you stop? Was it because of Game Pass? Was it because of Satya talking about cloud and not caring about the console anymore? Well, then if you don't care, then get rid of it. Because you're not doing it any favors. Instead, you're taking a brand that you spent decades to build up to get day one games with the PlayStation, the biggest competitor you have. Because mind you, in 2000 and with the Xbox 360, a huge win was to get a Final Fantasy, a Gran Turismo, a GTA day one with PlayStation. Because the whole Xbox original generation was games that showed up on PlayStation first and then came to Xbox later. GTA showed up on Xbox on PlayStation first, then came. Final Fantasy, same thing. We got the hand-me-downs on their OG Xbox. The 360 sold enough and got its mind share enough to get these big Sony games, these big franchises such as Final Fantasy and GTA on day and date with Sony. That was a get. It wasn't exclusive to Xbox. It was to get it the same day as their competition and not a second hand-me-out. I ask you this. What are we in right now? Sony seems to be getting these games first, and they come to Xbox later. They've regressed back to what they were in the OG Xbox, the original Xbox. The 360 fought tooth and nail to get games that Sony got day one the same day. That was a one more thing. A Final Fantasy 13, for example, or Final Fantasy 13. That game was a one more thing where they brought out the Final Fantasy the developer and said, we're getting Final Fantasy the same day as PlayStation. Same thing with Metal Gear Solid. Here comes Hideo Kojima on stage. Yep, you're getting Metal Gear Solid the same day as PlayStation. Those were wins for them because they had to build their establishment up to be competitive. And now, they went right back to the bottom. They regressed. The games show up on PlayStation first and Xbox some other time. Or they skip them entirely. You sense the frustration there. So the question is, if it's about getting games and they got all this money, why aren't they bringing you the games? But you won't ask that question. You will ignore it. You won't challenge them because you might get the care packages taken away or not getting flown out to play Redfall. But those are the questions you need to ask. Because right now, they're playing a different game right here. They're trying to buy up publishers because nobody wants to go to their service. And who knows? Maybe it's Game Pass. Maybe it's like, hey, if you want deals with us, we're not going to just put a game exclusively on Xbox. We're going to put it in game. It has to be in Game Pass day one. And maybe because of Game Pass, they're losing a lot of deals. Maybe they're losing a lot of potential games they could get on their platform because maybe they have some sort of contingency that it has to be in Game Pass. Wouldn't that suck? You're losing out on third-party exclusive games or second-party games because Microsoft says it has to be in Game Pass and they don't want to do it? But this is a concern. Because if this deal goes through, who's going to stop them? And who's going to stop the industry from just turning into this battle pass-ridden bullshit and still and pricing people out of business? So, I said, Microsoft is desperate. That's why I think the deal's going to go through. They don't care. They are willing to sell their souls to the devil, whatever soul they have, in order to get this deal to go through.
And they have something I could never have.
Really? And what's that?
A soul.
They are desperate. They don't care. Put it here, put it there. They don't care. So, when you're dealing with a desperate company that has money, they'll go at whatever it takes to get this deal done. And all Sony can do right now is just to go no. And they could keep pushing back on the deal. They could be like, hey, nope. But Microsoft needs Sony. Even after this deal, Microsoft needs that install base. They need the PlayStation. Because that's where it sells the most. They need them. So it's in their best interest to do this. But if Sony just bends the knee, or Sony just concedes and says, "Ah, sure, we'll take it," it's a raw deal. It's a raw deal. And Sony has every right to just be like, hey, it's not good. Because people keep thinking this is better for gamers. I still have not seen the argument why this is better for us. This makes it look like Call of Duty is just going to be diluted and thrown onto with Rare and everybody else. And Microsoft has no track record with their own IP, like Crackdown and Halo and Conker and Banjo-Kazooie and Perfect Dark and Fable. You know, Fable wasn't on its high horse when Peter Molyneux left. Fable 3 was not that great. And then they did Fable Connect. And Fable Legends really had nothing to do with Fable. It was just a skin. There was no story. It was a 5-on-1 multiplayer service game. That's what Fable Legends was that they canceled. That's the end game of Fable. Fable was never as good as Fable 2. So even that franchise was on its downswing because they lost Peter Molyneux. They lost the soul of this franchise. That's why they shut down Lionhead. Lionhead wasn't doing anything worthwhile. And that's all right, Sam, and that's the problem. It's not better. It's that they want bragging rights and talking points because it's a bunch of people that want internet clout and don't care about the games because they don't play the games. They just want the likes and retweets from their favorite Xbox fans. And it disgusts me because I know some of these Xbox fans, and you could see they're giving up. They're done with the cap. They're worn out. This deal worn them out so much. This whole no games thing, that Starfield wasn't even was hyped up. And then when they showed it last year, was not even talked about. And again, it got announced release date and all. And it was more about Lulu talking about what Jim Ryan said. And you watch. They got dudes doing podcasts three times a day. A breakfast, the nighttime, and this and that. And it's all about Lulu and the deal. You care so much about Starfield. And that's what I mean. They don't even show gameplay to the thing. Toolman, 13 months of VIP grinder. Shout out to you, man. The time I've used Game Pass made me less. The time I have used Game Pass made me less games. I felt like I was being pushed crap at the carnival from the carnies instead of what I liked. Yeah. And you're paying a premium price for that thing of games that they decide you will be playing. What's up, Halster Kington? How you doing? They are deciding what you like.
You just made the list.
If you need to get spoon-fed those kind of games and still have to buy games, it's a double-edged sword. Now you're paying for a service that you kind of, and that's the thing. That's why that Sony PlayStation Plus is cheaper. It's $100. It's $80 cheaper than Game Pass. It's a good subsequent game. Even the base at $60, you're getting subsequent games in there. It's not this high $200 price point of getting games you might want. And there may be a gem here and there. But really, you might as well just buy the game you're interested in than paying $200 a year to figure out maybe something will drop in there that I might like. But I think here the CMA seems to be like the biggest against this. The EU might approve it, but again, I think that, it would be an easier path for Microsoft if Sony just agrees to this thing, but Sony's playing hardball. And, they could say renegotiate it, send it to this, do that, and, Microsoft needs to find a different pathway. They're trying to make Sony be the bad guy and having social media force Sony into this thing. But that's only a narrative with just diehard Xbox fans. Because PlayStation fans and the rest of the industry is not calling out Sony on this one. They're like, who cares? Like, yeah, whatever. Because Microsoft has yet to prove why this is a good deal. And to be honest, if it was such a great deal and better for gaming, they wouldn't need Sony. They wouldn't need Nintendo. They wouldn't need Sony's blessing. They wouldn't need Nvidia. They wouldn't need them. They could have made a case that this was the best deal for better for Call of Duty, better for gamers. We're going to bring back franchises. We're going to help Activision sort itself out. We're going to bring great quality games. They could have made it more about the franchises and reviving franchises that Activision neglected and bringing those franchises to more platforms or making them exclusive. Say, go and buy an Xbox. They could have made it differently, but they didn't. Instead, they're making it all about Call of Duty, which they downplayed, and trying to make Sony look like the bad guy. And Sony's blocking this deal, but it's not Sony. Sony wants the deal blocked, but Sony's not the one that makes the decision. It's the regulatory agencies. And if Microsoft can't come up with a proper approach and strategy of why this is a good deal, and just saying, well, we're putting it on a console that never had it in 10 years, but Call of Duty was an independent party and could have put it there anyway. They could make it doesn't make any business sense. And Call of Duty can't run on a Switch physically with that stuff. Microsoft lost in all of its arguments. It's at a desperate point right now to get this deal to go through. And they keep delaying it because they're probably waiting for Microsoft to come up with a better approach. And Microsoft's not. Instead, they're barking up wrong trees. They're taking such because they have people dealing with this that don't care about games. They don't care about the Xbox business. They don't care about it. This is about cloud. And you saw Google with cloud. Well, what happens if Microsoft owns Call of Duty? You think Call of Duty is going to be on Google with cloud? Nope. Well, that's not good because that's the problem. So, it is what it is, but you saw the documents here in Grindhouse Law, and it's sleazy, dude. And it's so distasteful that Microsoft is so desperate for this and hasn't really shown why it's beneficial to all of us. Because they need to tell us. We could sit here and go, oh, they'll bring back Crash and bring back Spyro. No, they'll bring back all those, all those games. No. They never said that. Why would you assume that? And given their track record, they haven't brought back Banjo. They had enough time to put it on a Switch, but hell if they brought a Banjo a new game. Or Conquer, all the other IP. Voodoo Vince. We remastered the first one, but we're not making a sequel to Voodoo Vince. Why? They have IP. They have franchises. Where's the Rise IP? Make Rise 2. Do something. You have all this IP. Do something with it. They don't. So why do you sit here and go, oh my God, they're going to go into Activision and make all this IP? Who? No, they're not. They haven't done it for the last 10 years. They never said that. You're going on hopes and dreams, just like they are with their lists of games. The proof is in the pudding. And there's no pudding here. There's only Phil Ness. And with that, everybody, another gaming grind bite in the books. I want to thank everybody for coming out. All the super chats, all the VIPs. Thank you. Yeah, Voodoo Vince, right? But hit that like button, share it out. I'm going to be doing some cool new things. I'm still thinking about some things, but I don't want to put it out there because I got to make sure I want to do it. I definitely want to improve on the Discord and make the Discord here. We got tons of new members. Thanks to everybody for gifting them and people signing up and renewing their memberships. I want to do something special for all the members there as well. You can be a member by hitting that join button and using those awesome emojis. But with that, I want to thank everybody for 2,000 grinders. We'll definitely put a little celebration on the Gaming Grindhouse on Monday. Tune in for that. I'm probably going to do some great streaming, some games. I want to do Moss 2. As you know, I got the review for that one. I finished Moss 1. Incredible. I really want to talk about my experiences in the games I've been playing with. I finished Moss 1. I've been playing some really cool games. And I want to, definitely share some of that. So that'll be right on the Grindhouse. But I want to stream some stuff as well. So keep it locked here. You might get some streaming over the weekend. Definitely, maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow for that. Some VR or some just general streaming for some games. So, and it's always a fun time. I don't have my soundboard, though, but it's fun to interact and chat with everybody. But I want to thank everybody. Bye, Pony. Bye, Virgil. Thank you. Yeah. I'll give you reverb, Virgil. Shout out to Virgil, Finn, Sergeant, Ice Queen. Thank you again. Sprinting Snail. Yep, they might be new. I guess you're subscribed. Yeah, I gotta check. Thank you again. If you're new here, if I see some new names in here, hit that subscribe button. We're past 2,000 and we're going. The Grindhouse is growing. It's gonna be fun, dude. I have fun. I love talking to everybody and having the chat interaction. And I know you like the other sounds. And I will get a I'm Sorry song. I'll be making that too. And I'm gonna probably put another emoji in there. But anyway, thank you again, everybody. Hit that like button, share it out. Have a great weekend, and keep it locked here for more Gaming Grindhouse and some game streaming. And I will play. Let's see. Well, I'll do the. Yeah, this is probably about what it is.